Hey everyone, it's Kelly. I'm back today with a double page 12 by 12 Project Life process video. This week I'm documenting week 34 in my 2020 album. I have been playing catch up with my Project Life and I am currently, I think, up to week 40. So I will have quite a few process videos coming your way, hopefully soon. But I am using some products from Citrus Twist for this week's spread. Now, when I use Citrus Twist products, I tend to be a little bit more scrapbooky in my project life. I tend to make more clusters and I tend to just add a lot more embellishments because their kits are just full of embellishments. And I went through the various kits that I have. I actually have changed how I organize these kits. I've broken down the embellishments into categories rather than keeping them as the kit. So I have like a packet of florals, a packet of labels, a packet of circles, those type of things. And I just go through each packet and pull out different colored embellishments and different types of embellishments. So flowers, circles, labels, all those things I just mentioned in the colors that I've chosen for my cards. So that little bowl that I was pulling die cuts from, that was actually the bowl that I threw all the die cuts in as I was going through them that fit the color scheme that I have going on this week's spread. So I'm going to continue going through some embellishments just because I want to have a general idea of where I'm going to be placing the embellishments before I take the cards over to my typewriter to add any additional journaling. This is something I don't know if I've ever shown in a video before, but if I'm going to be adding journaling to a card and I'm going to have a photo placed on the card or I'm going to have embellishing on the card, what I do is I kind of lay everything out on the card and then I just use a pencil to trace around the embellishments or trace around the photo. And then I will take it over to my typewriter. Then I can see exactly where the embellishments are going to be on the card and I don't have to worry about any of the journaling being covered up. And then once I have the journaling added onto the card, I will just erase the pencil lines and then go ahead and get everything laid out. Now on some of the cards, especially Citrus Twist cards, I have to be careful on how much erasing I do because the color or the icons on the card will lift with my eraser. So you'll get like a white area on the card if you erase too much. So I have to be really, really careful, especially with, I've noticed it with Citrus Twist and Hip Kit Club cards that the color will lift with the eraser. So I'm just going to keep working on embellishing. I am going to add some chipboard. This little chipboard says storyteller and it fit perfectly on the little bracket on that card and it goes along really well with the story that I told on the card, which I am going to walk you through the week here in just a second as I am embellishing. I'm going to work on getting all of the clusters adhered down. I do want to make sure that I have a few clusters going on in a few different areas, just again to create a visual triangle to help your eye kind of dance around the layout. So while I am embellishing, let me go ahead and just walk you through this week's photos. So the photo that I just had in my hand there, it's going to go on the top left-hand side of the spread. Last week was my husband's birthday, but this week we went out with his dad and his stepmom out to dinner to celebrate. So I was trying to take a picture of the three of them. So my husband, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and this really nice gentleman that was sitting next to us asked if I wanted to be included in the photo. So he hopped up and I jumped over to the table and he took our picture, which I thought was super great. And I love when people offer to do that. So if you ever notice that when you're out and about, don't be afraid to ask because I think that if you see somebody taking a photo, then they definitely like pictures and they may want to be included in the picture as well. So on the middle column on the left-hand side of the spread, I have a photo that's just a couple eggs in a skillet. And this is probably really silly and strange, but I had never made over easy eggs before and I did it for the very first time. And I was really proud of myself because I was alone when I did it. So I didn't have, my husband's a cook at a restaurant. So he normally makes eggs and makes things like that for us at home. And so I didn't have him there to like coach me through how long I needed to let it set before I flipped it, which I know seems like such a crazy thing to do, to be proud of, but I was really proud that I didn't break the yolk when I flipped them. And I'm a little bit embarrassed that I just shared that story with you, but I'm an open book, so we're just going to go with it. So in the spot next to that is going to be that journaling card that I'm working on right now. I'm just adding some stamps that go along with the story, and that journaling card goes with the photo next to it of my son sitting at the computer. Our school system doesn't send homework home very often. It's not something that they do. They give the kids time in school to do it so they don't have to bring school home with them, which I think is great. But this day he actually had to bring it home because they were doing a genealogy project. So he was making a family tree and he didn't know some of the answers to the questions that were on the family tree. And I just thought that that was really neat. You know, we had some time to sit and talk about some relatives, his great grandparents that he never had a chance to meet. He never met my mom's side of the family, his great grandparents. So we talked about them and I just shared some stories with them. And I just thought it was a really neat project. And it was something that was near and dear to my heart as a scrapbooker. So I definitely wanted to document that. The card next to that is going to tie in with the photo at the top of us going out to dinner for my husband's birthday. And I'm still just working on adding some stamping. I'm going to go ahead and just talk about the card that I'm working on now since you can't really see anything else that's on the left-hand side of the spread. So I like to include screenshots of shows that I'm watching or books that I'm reading. And I was watching ER at this time on Hulu. And it's actually the second time that I've been binge watched the series, and I really, really enjoy it. I think in another life, that is something that I really would have enjoyed doing. I would have enjoyed working as a nurse in a busy emergency room like that in a big city. So not to jump around too much, but I'm going to go back to the left-hand side of the spread now that you can see it a little bit better. I have two photos on the bottom left-hand corner that I just collaged together on a 4x6 piece of photo paper. And they're actually photos that were taken at a work event that we went to. My office hosts a summer party every year, and we go to the doctor that I work for, his lake house. And so we spent the day at the lake. And then the card next to that just talks about different things that happened with my work family this week. So on the right hand side of the spread, the photo that I just moved there, again, it's two 3x4 prints on a 4x6 piece of paper. We had our semi-annual all team party, and or I guess actually it's all team meeting. That's not a party. We have some time where we have some learning, and then usually there's some type of fun activity that's planned. So that day we had our learning in the morning, and then we went out to lunch together, and then we went to this place in Fort Wayne that it is, I think it was called Combat Sports or something like that. And it had axe throwing. So I had never done that before, and one of my coworkers snapped a picture of me, and so I wanted to make sure I included that. So all of the journaling for those two work events are included on the journaling card that's on the left-hand side of the spread at the bottom. It's covered up right now, but I put at the top work fun, and then there were 3 spots for journaling. So I just journaled about those things. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the right-hand side of the spread again. At the top of the spread, I have a photo of my son, and he was working on his times tables. I know I just said that they don't send homework home very often, but it's something that we do work on still continuously. And I had told him that I would give him $50 if he learned his times tables between now and a certain date. And I know that bribery is not the best parenting tactic, but my son really does work best if there's some type of incentive. His love language is definitely gift giving. So that is something, if there's an incentive involved, he, can really get a fire lit under him to get things done. So the photo next to that is a photo that I took in the morning before I was leaving for work. I actually did that for a few weeks in a row where you could see how the light was changing each week, how much darker it was getting each week. So I included just a line of journaling that I had pre-printed on the photo when I edited the photo. And I will add the timestamp on there as well. I don't think I do it actually in the video because I didn't think about it until after I finished recording, but you will see it in the still shots at the end. I've already talked about the ER photo, and then I have 2 photos on the right-hand side of the spread that are both food related. And there was a card included with Citrus Twist that says something about, I don't ever want to look back and think I could have eaten that or something like that. And I thought that it worked really well with those pictures. So the spot that I'm working on now is where I talked about the axe throwing and the work meeting. And I actually had multiple photos that I wanted to include. So I'm going to use a flip flap from Close to My Heart. Simple Stories makes something really similar, but I don't like Simple Stories version as well as Close to My Heart. Simple Stories has a much bigger, I don't know if it's called a gutter, but it's the area between the adhesive strip and where you actually insert the photo. And it's so large that it doesn't lay well, where these Close to My Heart ones are much, much better. The card next to that is just a screenshot that I took. My son has e-learning every Friday, and that was the first e-learning that they had. So I just journaled about that. I did add some stamping to that card as well. I think it said school schedule or something like that. And it just fit the theme of the card really well and what I was talking about. If you're curious about any of the stamps that I used, I will make sure to link them in the description box below. I know I didn't talk a whole lot about the stamping, but I will include all of those links if you're interested in checking that out. So here are a few more still shots. If you did like this video and you'd like my Project Life videos, I really encourage you to either give me a thumbs up or leave a comment. I do use that as a way to gauge if these videos are something that are being enjoyed and worth my time investment. So I do appreciate any feedback that you give. And I will be back again soon with another video. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, I would encourage you to do so. I'm going to try to get at least 2 videos up a week for the next few weeks. I've been working on catching up on my project life, and I'm up to week 40 now. So I'm hoping that I will be able to get a couple videos out over the next few weeks as I continue to play catch up. So again, I just want to thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you all again soon.